mint leaves clipped from my mint plant. It's really good in tea. I used to get A minuses in my class because my teacher said that my writing is beautiful, but it's too fancy and tough to read. I'm still very grateful for teaching me to write grammatically correct and follow the lines. Those are great lessons. But to me, this was toned down. And the way I really love to write, and I never changed my ways. I was willing to risk getting an A minus instead of an A plus. She continued to give me A's, but I kept writing this way. But the way I really like to write is rise above and be original. And this is a golf ball. I used to play Tyler's Pro V1s. Sometimes I go back. I really like these golf balls. And if I was a teacher, I would use a ball marker and give myself an A plus. A big heart. And the way that I mark my ball sometimes is with a dot like that.
I was inspired to do this, and then I realized, you know what? I want to talk about this in relation to things you want to be good at, or things you want to learn, or a skill set. And again, I'll talk about golf as a metaphor, and then writing as a metaphor. So you can understand why I love teaching the one swing, or that I encourage you to seek out good fundamental information. It's rare, but it's out there. Like really good fundamentals. There are many things disguised as fundamentals. And it's packaged as a fundamental, and it's really a quick tip to continue to learn to understand what really are proper fundamentals. So I like to share these things so you can weed it out. Because if I go, you know what, just do this, this is going to help you, are you one, going to believe me? Are you two, going to get distracted and move on and try many other things? Because you could get really good information, you could get the truth of something, but it can be hidden beneath a lot of layers of misinformation. So these kind of things will help guide you, because I want you to have the freedom to figure things out for yourself, but most importantly, to start critically thinking. Start thinking through things. Go, okay, does this really make sense? And at first, everything's going to make sense and seem correct because you don't know much. But I'll help guide you along the way in these simple little metaphors too. They're very powerful. And to give an example of writing, the reason I got to the way that I write is my gratitude for the lessons I've learned from teachers. You know, how to write properly, how to write cursive, how to put sentence structures together so it's legible. I'm really grateful for that. If not, I wouldn't be able to write poetry. I have poems that maybe one day I will share. And to be creative, you've got to have the right foundation. But what I did protect and always do is my own expression and style. That is really something that comes out of doing the right things. I had a student that I talked to yesterday during a lesson, and oops, that was Nalu tapping my camera. So we were talking about writing, and she loves to write cursive too, but when she writes to her friends notes or on a card, she has to print because a lot of kids these days don't know how to read cursive. So most of the kids at her school, they don't read cursive because they don't study it. And at some times she says she has to go back to make sure that her writing is correct because she doesn't use it as frequently, but she loves to write it. So I said, you know what? Continue to print for your friends so they can read what you're writing, but do cursive on your own. You know, when you're making a list of something or journaling. And she goes, you know, that's great. That's a good idea. And I'm going to keep doing that. And I said, yeah, it's just something that I'd love for you to do if that's what you like to do. If you don't worry about it. And I'm glad that I continued because I remember looking over at my friend's writing because at first I was like, okay, what kind of writing am I supposed to do to please my teacher? Because everybody has a different perspective on what is good writing. And I looked over and they look like scribbles. I mean, everybody's handwriting is not all legible and perfect. And I felt like, you know what, this is my style. And so I'm glad I continued the way and was willing to go, you know what, I may never get an A plus with her, but I'm going to keep writing the way I did. And she continued to give me A's, you know, so it's not like she was against everything that I wrote because of that, but she was really encouraging me to write not so fanciful, I guess. She said it was beautiful, but it was just too fancy. And I'm glad I continued to write the way I did because, you know, I toned it down a little bit for her, but when I would go home and I would write, there was a fly, I would write sideways on my notepad and I would write, you know, big, bold words whenever I wanted to, and sometimes I wouldn't. It's just how I felt. With writing, nowadays, if a kid wanted to even write like me, they would have to go through the steps of doing the right fundamental things to learn cursive or writing. And so it takes those steps, but it's so doable when you take those steps. Then their own style and creativity will come out. I don't even want anybody to copy the way that I write because your own style should come out. I don't think we're here to copy other people. It's to expand and be original. It's like the golf swing. I love teaching the one swing because when you do it, your own style, your own tempo, it just comes out of it. And I'm not going to mess with that. When it comes out, I'm like, yes. When the old swing habits come in, then yeah, I'm going to be like, no, you're going to get the fundamentals down. That's very important. But when your own original golf swing appears, that's what's beautiful. And a lot of golfers are afraid to mess up their swing that they have because they think they're original, but they don't realize that they're more cookie cutter. Whenever I have new students come in and they've taken a bunch of lessons or done many different things and they think they've got this original swing, I'm like, wow, you're like 99% of the other golfers. You got a lot of the same issues. So to me, it's more cookie cutter. And all these cookie cutter golfers think that they have an original swing, they don't want to mess with it. I'm like, no. You've got a reverse pivot and your arms are not extended at all. It's stuck to your side, and that's why you're hitting more random shots than good. This is why I would have students that would watch a pro on TV and they're like, I want to swing like so-and-so. I want to swing like, you know, I had a kid that's like, I want to swing like Bubba Watson. And then the next week, I want to swing like Ricky Fowler. And I'm like, they have two different styles. They've got good fundamentals, but one has a steeper swing plane and one has a shallower swing plane. And so when you do the right motion and the fundamentals, you'll end up having your own style, and it'll be more beautiful at times than somebody you were trying to copy. So my message to you is continue to seek the right information. And if you turn around and go, you know what, I want to learn the one swing, join and become a member and start learning. If you like the game of golf, first discover that. And then, or whatever it is, seek the right information, do the right things, and then allow your own style to come through, shine through. And when you do that, you will be original. All right, take care. Peace.